There's a lot we need to talk about, but this is, I think, the biggest issue. Last night at Columbia University, students began forming a human chain to keep Jews from being able to walk across campus.
Attention, everyone. Can I get everyone to form a human chain right here, please? We have Zionists that have entered.
We have Zionists at the entrance of our encampment.
Repeat after me. We have Zionists. Who have entered the camp.
Now, you need to know it was Jewish students, not Zionists. It was Jewish students. They say this is all about Israel, but they sure are targeting Jews generally. Not only that, they began at Columbia University an Al-Qassam chant. Al-Qassam, make us proud. They're chanting for Al-Qassam to kill more Jews. That was their chant at Columbia University. Al-Qassam, make us proud. Kill more Jews. What is Al-Qassam, you ask? Al-Qassam is the military wing of Hamas that coordinated the October 7th massacre. You have students at Columbia University calling on Al-Qassam, the military wing of Hamas that massacred the Jews on October 7th, to kill more Jews. This is happening at Columbia University. At Yale University, they formed a human chain to block Jewish students from going into the dorms. And at Columbia University, a Columbia University Jewish professor who was born in Israel has been locked out of campus.
Shame on you!
I have not just a civil right as a Jewish person to be on campus. I have a right as a professor employed by the university to be on campus. They deactivated my card. These are 5 lawsuits happening, but we don't want to.
And they come to shout him down. He's been locked out of campus. A Jewish professor born in Israel, locked out of campus at Columbia University. At Yale today, right now, these pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas protesters, anti-Semites, they have blocked streets around Yale's campus. They're refusing to allow people access to Yale if they're Jewish. This is happening not in Germany in the 1930s. This is not happening in Arab countries. This is happening in the United States of America in the year of our Lord, 2024. Now, I got to set the stage for you here. This is very important because when Joe Biden ran for president of the United States of America in 2019, do you know what the very first 2 words were of Joe Biden's launch video? I'm not making this up. This is the very first video from Joe Biden's campaign where he announced he was running for president. The very first 2 words of Joe Biden's campaign, the reason Joe Biden said he was running for president of the United States were these 2 words, the very first 2 words he uttered in his campaign announcement. Do you know what those 2 words were?
Charlottesville, Virginia is home to the author of one of the great documents in human history. We know it by heart. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. We've heard it so often, it's almost a cliche, but it's who we are. We haven't always lived up to these ideals. Jefferson himself didn't, but we have never before walked away from them.
Charlottesville, Virginia. Those are the first 2 words uttered by the campaign for president of the United States of Joe Biden. Joe Biden said it was the events in 2017 at the Unite the Right rally where the Tiki Torch Whites carried tiki torches through Charlottesville, Virginia. That was the reason he decided to run for office. CNN reported this, NBC reported this, the New York Times reported this, the Washington Post reported this. Jill Biden and Joe Biden both said The reason Joe Biden ran for president were the events of Charlottesville, Virginia. How un-American that was, how detestable that was. He needed to run to call Americans back to their founding ideals. We hold these truths that all men are created equal. Those are his words, the very first two words uttered by Joe Biden in his campaign for president, Charlottesville, Virginia. And he hasn't said jack about what's going on right now. Really easy for Joe Biden to call out the other side. That's not leadership. That's easy. It's easy to criticize the other side. It's hard to criticize your own side. After the primary in Michigan, where 15% of Democratic voters, mostly in Islamic districts around Dearborn, Michigan, and auto workers, voted uncommitted in the Democratic presidential campaign, Joe Biden's team began walking back his position on Israel. He began being more sympathetic to the Palestinians and towards Hamas and more reasonable towards Hamas. And now, on Columbia University's campus, Joe Biden is seeing this. We're all seeing this. They're blocking Jews from campus. At Yale University, they're blocking Jews from campus. At Harvard University, they're harassing Jewish students. You know, at Columbia, the local Orthodox rabbi is having to arrange security for Jewish students. The University of Pennsylvania, they were chanting death to the Jews and from river to sea, a genocidal call against the Jews. At Stanford University in California, they chased a Jewish speaker off campus. It was real easy for Joe Biden to condemn Donald Trump. But Joe Biden, he's not showing leadership here. He's showing cowardice. He can't bring himself to hold the anti-Semites and the racists on his side accountable. It's real easy to vilify everybody on the right. You got all of MSNBC claiming it's the Tiki Torch whites who are the big threat in America. Last I checked, the Tiki Torch whites aren't blocking any Jew from going to school. The Democrats have a pattern in history of racists blocking schools from access by those they don't like. And here they are again, falling back on their nature. And Joe Biden's unwilling to call them out. Oh, sure, the White House will release a statement written in Joe Biden's name. But where's Joe Biden? Where is Joe Biden? At war with the English language still? Asleep? They're not trotting Joe Biden out. You know, this is one of the most remarkable things about this administration at this moment. They can't trot Joe Biden out to make a forceful case to stand with Ukraine. They can't do it. He's unwilling to stand up himself. It's all got to be pre-planned, pre-written statements. He can't just off the top of his head defend Ukraine. He can't defend Israel. He can't denounce anti-Semitism. He can't come out to a microphone because instead he may cause an international incident talking about his uncle being eaten by cannibals in Papua New Guinea. Joe Biden can't rise to the occasion. He has not risen to the occasion. In 1992, Rodney King, after the savage beating in Los Angeles, 4 of the police officers were charged and hauled before a jury. They were found not guilty, and the Los Angeles riots began. And a black female rapper named Sister Souljah came out after the Los Angeles riots in May of 1992 and said black people needed to spend a week killing white people. There was an Arkansas governor you might have heard of. His name was Bill Clinton. He was running for president. And within a month of Sister Souljah giving that statement to the Washington Post and others, Bill Clinton was speaking at Jesse Jackson's Rainbow Coalition event and let loose on what became known as a Sister Souljah moment.
Been best about the Rainbow Coalition, which is people coming together across racial lines. You talked about Mr. Fields from Louisiana that you had here last night, a great role model. We don't have a lot of time to do this. We don't have a lot of time. You had a rap singer here last night named Sister Souljah. I defend her right to express herself through music. But her comments before and after Los Angeles were filled with the kind of hatred that you do not honor today and tonight. Just listen to this. what she said. She told the Washington Post about a month ago, and I quote, "If black people kill black people every day, why not have a week and kill white people? So you're a gang member and you normally kill somebody, why not kill a white person?" Last year she said, "You can't call me or any black person anywhere in the world a racist. We don't have the power to do to white people what white people have done to us. And even if we did, we don't have that low-down, dirty nature. If there are any good white people, I haven't met them. Where are they? Right here in this room. That's where they are." I know she is a young person, but she has a big influence on a lot of people. And when people say that, if you took the words white and black and you reversed them, you might think David Duke was giving that speech.
He went on from there, criticized her, criticized those who would back her. At Jesse Jackson's event, Jesse Jackson denounced Bill Clinton after the event. Other prominent black officials in the country denounced Bill Clinton, and he stood by it. He defended it. He said he was right and she was wrong, and that this was leadership, criticizing people on his own side, that he understood the injustice. He denounced the verdict against the cops, Rodney King, but this was wrong to encourage black people to kill white people. Bill Clinton rose to the occasion. You could say it was political. You could say it was cynical. You can say he needed to do it. But by God, Joe Biden needs to do it, and he's nowhere to be seen. You have not foreigners on college campuses in this country. You have white American kids and black American kids and other non-white American kids on Ivy League campuses forming human chains to block Jews from going to their dorms and classes. You have Ivy League universities denying Jewish professors with tenure access to the college campus in the name of protecting them. You have white students calling for Al-Qassam, Hamas's militant wing, to murder Jewish students on campus. Over the weekend, a picture came out of a white girl wearing the dish towel wrapped around her head, holding a sign pointing to Jewish students waving American flags. The Jewish students waving American flags. The anti-Jewish students burning the American flags. The Jewish students, she held a sign pointing to them with an arrow pointing to them. Al-Qassam, your next target, please. Al-Qassam, again, the group that orchestrated the massacre of October 7th. This was a white girl, wasn't a foreigner, was a white girl, a woke white girl on a college campus. We have white and black. We have other non-white American voting citizens on these college campuses calling for death to the Jews, blocking Jews from campus, and Joe Biden is silent. At best, they release words on paper. Joe Biden has not stood up and announced this. Joe Biden could have a sister soldier moment, and the fact that he hasn't is a pretty big indication Joe Biden needs the votes of the anti-Semites to win in November, and he doesn't want to rise to the occasion because to do so might cost him an election. Real leadership is putting it all on the line, like Mike Johnson did in the face of an ouster by his own conference. He still stood strong for Ukraine. Joe Biden is being led around by the anti-Semites instead of leading them out the door away from campus and into jail. Joe Biden can't lead right now. Those of you who are Jewish should be really concerned. The President of the United States is refusing to come to the microphone and flat out denounce anti-Semitism and racism on college campuses because the man whose first words in his campaign were Charlottesville, Virginia, can't actually bring himself to hold his own side to the same standard he wants to hold Donald Trump's side to. Pretty damning indictment of his character, and I hope he proves me wrong. But I'm not going to hold my breath.
Want to be on the